Welcome to the distinguished annual event, the Queen Rania Teacher Academy Forum 2023, under the theme Revitalizing the Learning Experience to Reignite Inspiration and Passion. We would like to thank you all for attending this forum and welcome you. Established in 2009, the Queen Rania Teacher Academy is a non-profit institution that embraces the vision of Her Majesty Queen Rania Al Abdullah to enhance the quality of education by empowering teachers with necessary skills. QRTA provides innovative and high-quality professional development programs in Jordan and the Arab world. QRTA effectively contributes to serving the educators community, reflecting its commitment to education development and enhancing educator skills through a range of specialized initiatives. This includes opportunities for continuous learning and advanced training for teachers and school leaders. As part of these initiatives, QRTA hosts an annual forum, bringing together distinguished educators from around the world to exchange experiences and stimulate innovation in the field of education. This year, our forum stands out with dedicated workshops led by educators for educators. These workshops aim to enhance learners' knowledge and equip teachers with tools and skills to make the student learning experience more exciting and engaging. They also aim to provide students with means to explore the world, interact with international issues, and maintain a continuous curiosity for research and questioning. Before the start of today's workshop, we would like to remind you that you can obtain a certificate of attendance. We look forward to your participation in the feedback survey as well, which will be shared with you before the end of the workshop. Thank you for your cooperation and valuable input. And please allow me to introduce Dr. Omar Al-Nursi, a lead teacher at the Institute of Applied Technology, Tahnoon bin Mohammed Educational Complex. Welcome, Dr. Omar.
Welcome. Thank you, Shadi, for introducing me and giving a brief about the Queen Rania Teacher Academy. First of all, I'm really pleased to be with you. This is my first time participating in Queen Rania Teacher Academy activities. It's really some distinguished PD events. My topic is about utilizing the learning journals and learning logs. But first, before I will be introducing this topic, let me introduce myself for a few who maybe most of you do not know me. Of course, I am a father. I'm a father. I always like to introduce myself by being a father. That's one of the significant role that we have in our life. I'm a father of two ladies, daughters studying at the university, the Arabic University in Jordan. I have also two sons who have already completed their university, and now they are seeking vacancies and so on. I hope they or have a better future. I am a teacher. I have been teaching I would say more than 2 decades in UAE at least. Before I joined teaching in UAE, I worked for about 5 years in Jordan, teaching English language, where I also obtained my bachelor degree from Yarmouk University. I also my master degree was also obtained there from Yarmouk University. Then I joined here UAE, one of the military schools, and then Minister of Education. And now, since 2006, I think 2006, I have been assuming the role of a teacher and lead teacher at the Institute of Applied Technology for more than 17 years. I love being a teacher, and I have always been proud of being teacher. I am also a mentor. Because I assume the role of the lead teacher, I need to mentor my colleagues or teachers who are joining the institution. I also mentor my students in different ways, especially that I'm teaching AB research and AB seminar courses at the place I am working on. I sometimes informally I mentor some of my colleagues who are studying, who are joining or enrolled in master and PhD studies. I'm an author. I have also published 2 books so far, and I have also published more than 12 or to 13 articles in I would say, peer journals in different departments, discussing or talking or uh, about different topics like teacher education, uh, technology integration, language skills, learning styles, students in a learning environment, and different things. Also, I am a presenter. I have been presenting in different parts of the world. I presented in Egypt, Cairo, Tessel. I presented in India, in Qatar, here in Dubai, and in Abu Dhabi. I think I have presented in multiple occasion and multiple events, educational events. I find that sharing what you know is something is really important and contribute to education in general. I am a reviewer. I am part of different teams. I would say a member of different teams that uh, 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 review journals for to consider for publication. I would say almost every 2 to 3 months I review an article or two for journals, educational journal, I would say. One thing I would like to introduce myself is I'm a long life learner. I believe in learning, and we should never stop learning, especially that with the birth of technology and internet. Now you don't have to travel to China in order to get knowledge or information. It's there, and you can do a lot of learning. I am surrounded with a team. I mean, in my school where I work now with long life learners, and we always compete with and share knowledge that we gain or skills and so on. This maybe creates some issues at home where I spend most of my time between both reading or on front of my screen and so on. I am also AB research. I don't want to take much time, but I am also AB research reader. This is for the AB research course. I have been a rater or reader for 2 years. This is few people would get this out of state outside United States of America. I'm a member of Educational Association. I am also proud to say that I am recipient of Sheikh Hamdan Award for distinguished academic performance. I'm also a recipient for GIS Award for outstanding contribution education. I have also obtained IAT External Participation Award. But most proudly, I'm most one thing that I feel proud of, I did not mention here, is that I was selected as most liked teacher as voted by students, which something that I feel proud of. Now, this is me. I maybe take more time than I should be, and I want to know more about you. So please, in order to just have a kind of report, even we are behind screens. I know it's also lunchtime in most of the Arab world now, and either people doing they have to pay attention to family members as well. But please, this session, I'm using AHA slides. So please scan the QR or join this session by this code, and then you will be able to submit your name and the selection courses and so on. I will be giving you about 2 to 3 minutes, if you don't mind, and then we will just scan the code or join this here, and then you will be able to run. If you are unable, then we can use the chat as well. So you can add some information about you. In chat, I see Dania, Jordan, 7 years experience, inspiring. Can you send a link since? Fida, Obeid, I don't know what you mean by link, but it's the link is on the screen now. Join at ahaslides.com, and then this is the code you can join. Also, just to scan the code, you will be able from your mobile or any device, you will be connected. Teacher Surprise Software from Algeria. Oh, we are happy that we have people from Algeria. Have a good number of friends from Algeria. A mother, a teacher, Abu Dhabi, Ruqayya, Abu Nas, that's teacher. We have mother, teacher, life learner too. I have teaching for great Fida. I mean, it's not that easy to maintain doing this job, but it's something. I am a Lebanese living in Jeddah. English language grade 6, TIFL and English teaching high school, more than 14 years. So people are with good experience. So I'm following both the AHA slides screen and also the chat so that we can, we have the colleague from Jordan, Nadine Al Hassan from Lebanon. She is the principal. Najim Majid, Ziad or Zaid Haddadin, English, French language, French language, I'd like to be a teacher. That's great. I mean, being a teacher is something great. Also, sometimes, Ahmed,
Hi, how are you?
Tunisia, live in Oman, Tunisian, live in Oman, teacher of Arabic language for 10 years. I have answered, and that's great, Ahmed. You already uh, uploaded or submitted a picture. You can even on AHA slides upload some image if you like from either from the school or a landmark, a hot location in your, I mean, uh, place where you are proud of to be with, and so on. These are great people in here that they are sacrificing their family time and so on and joining here talking about activities and other things as well. Okay, now let's talk about our topic today. So my purpose today is to introduce the utilization of learning logs and learning journals, and I will be explaining about the contents that I'm working on. Also, one of my goals, aims, is to define these learning goals and learning logs and learning journal and see the differences between them, so we clear the confusion about them and so on. And I also would like to tell you that I am working, or I'm concluding a research paper on this. So I did a lot of research regarding the division and differences, and I found that there is a confusion. Also, in my agenda, also we need to touch on what do you mean by reflection and reaction, and how to reinforce reflection and reaction. This is something that we need to do because it is maybe the ultimate purpose or goal for utilizing such tools. Definitely, we will be discussing the benefits for students. I mean, benefits of utilizing learning logs for students and also for teachers. We will be discussing the challenges that we are facing or we have been facing in a school setting with respect to utilization of the learning logs as teaching tools or learning tools or assessment tools, whatever. Types of learning logs also will be discussed. One of the things I hope that we can get into agreement to the best way for implementing the learning goals, the learning logs in schools, and also we will be talking about. I will give the floor for questions and discussion concluded. So, and I, in order to have a fruitful session, I would say, and I know it's midday again. I need your input. I know maybe you are sitting in your chair, maybe in living room, some of you in kitchen, doing things, paying attention, and not paying attention. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I have been involved in such as a participant, as a facilitator, and so on. But without your input, this will not be successful. Your input is highly valued and so on. This is why we have the AHA slides, and we have this is why also I'll be asking you to share some of your thought, input, and so on. So please bear with me, because this is, I think, the best way that we can have a fruitful discussion. Now, why we are talking about why I'm argue that learning logs are important and so on. Nowadays, we all know the situation where because of the technology, because of this explosion, information, knowledge flows system non-stop, and innovation drives change. And this situation lead to new roles for educators, for teachers, and new responsibility. I don't think that the way I was taught in high school 30 or maybe 40 years ago will be the same as now. So what is our role now as educators, and is to empower young mind with tools they need, not just to learn, but also to thrive. We want them to think critically. We want them to synthesize information. I was attending one of the session in today's forum, and the information that and the technology and too many things. And the challenge is for students to at least to differentiate between false and one. So there are too many things that students learning by itself or stop to to the edge where we learn. We know that students are learning is not enough. We want them to feel how important learning for them. What does it mean to synthesize? How to solve problems? It's in other words, 21st century skills. Now, so our main task as educator in this era is not to help students only to teach students and disseminate information and what they should be doing but rather than to foster critical thinking and independent learning. All our students, they have good eyes, they can read, they can see, they can do great things with gardening, but we need to provide them with tools so that they can see better, see in depth. They can get into the what we call depth learning or deep learning, so they can see and make connection between different part of the lesson, the lesson in English into the math and so on. This is what we are. I claim, I argue that journal writing is one of these best tools that can help them. I claim because I have been using this for the last 3 years, and I will be sharing with you some of my students' feedback and so on. So why I'm arguing again? Because learning logs are, in my view, and many and in literature says, as windows into the mind of our students. When students write about their learning or discuss their learning, discuss their feeling about the lesson, the value of the information or the knowledge, the skills they have done, we can look at their windows and at their mind and see what they need and what they don't need. Um, Unfortunately, the learning journals are underutilized in schools and can rarely. I am in a school, have been working in different schools, and we don't have, I would say, actual learning logs or consistent learning logs. Uh, but it's used, or they are used increasingly in higher education. This suggests that, and we believe that high school students or school students are not mature enough to do learning logs, which is a false, I would say, false conception or false generalization. At the university also, students are doing this in a different way. Maybe one reason we are, and this is not the scope of this session, maybe one reason because at the schools, teachers, including myself, I'm a teacher, that we have too many roles and the teaching load is high. So we stop using these. But all in all, learning logs and journals are effective tools for students to reflect on their learning, document their progress, and set goals for future learning. I have read a lot of articles recently about this, and all in all, this has been the finding of many research articles. Now, I want your input, and we will discuss this. What is the definition of learning logs or journal? Based on your understanding and experience, could you please, in your own words, what's your perception about learning log? What does it mean to you, these two concepts, learning logs or learning journals? Again, if you cannot type on slides, you can, if you don't mind, using the chat. And I'm not going to ignore chat, Mr. But I really appreciate sharing your input in here. I'm sure you have been using this from time to time, or you have read about it. What does it mean uh, to you, learning logs and learning journals? A lot of reflection. That's a good response. It's about reflection after all. Yes, I do agree. What else? Students to analyze their own learning and thought process. Yes, it's analyzing, reflecting their learning, try to diagnose their issues and concerns. It shows the progress of the students. Nadine, that's very accurate from chat. Space to write thoughts, ideas, and questions. Correct. That's awesome. We have great minds here. For students to maybe communicate where they are lacking, definitely نتعلم منكم إن شاء الله. Thank you. This is in Arabic. We learn from each other definitely, and your input is the main contribution, is the main outcome of this session, I would say. Ruqayya, asking your student to talk or reflect on their learning. That's very, Mr. Bunawas, that's accurate. Asking students to talk or to reflect on their learning. Okay. I'll be waiting for a few. Expressing thought and emotion. Emotion, that's very, very, very accurate. It is emotions. Emotions are very important and play a major role in students' learning. If emotions are not involved in learning, that would be very difficult. Give a student to share their thoughts and opinions. Yes, students to share their thoughts and opinion. This is very important because when students are giving the platform or the space to give their thoughts, they feel more engaged and more motivated and more appreciated, which are important elements for active learning. After each session of explanation, I ask them to write 3 concepts they have learned. Excellent. So they keep them engaged in after school or after the lesson. We still have participant typing in here. I'm trying to follow the chat as well. Okay, improve writing skills. Yeah, Diana Diab, yes, I tend to agree, improving writing skills, but I hope it is not the ultimate goal, is to improve writing skills only, but it would be a byproduct. Okay, please keep writing. I will keep it for a while. Giving feedback to show progress of the learning and how much. Muhammad Mutir. Okay, Khalid Sheikh Qasim, feedback. Thank you, Sheikh Qasim. Safa, to relate something out of a class, what you have been. Yeah, Safa, this is very relevant. How to link what they learned in the class into their real life. And we cannot see that as a teacher. Only we can see it from students when they reflect on their learning. It's one of the goals to relate. That's good. Evaluation of what they understood. Shamsa Ishaq, yes, it's students evaluate what they have been learning. So yeah, that's correct. Evaluation or assess what they have been learning. In other words, to make sense of what they are learning. That's essential. We will be discussing this. Okay, let me close the chat. A new message. Let me go to the new message. Give them a chance to try something beyond the curriculum. That's nice, Fida. Curriculum is what the students learn. We can employ 2 skills, speaking and writing, to improve their language. Yes, this is from language perspective. It's a good opportunity for a student to communicate either in writing or learn. It's good. Learning log is a way that allows students to progress their learning by recording their learning and dig deeping in it. Very accurate. That's all of these are accurate, and your feedback is great and shows how interested you are in this topic. So what's learning journal? Now, from your input and what you have been sharing, there are different perspectives, different views of learning. And some people seeing as a reflection strategy, and that was mentioned in a couple of posts that you have done. It's a reflection strategy to help the student think critically about what they are learning in their classes. That's very accurate. The ultimate goal of this is to help the students reflect on their learning and see that. Some people see it as a tool for self-evaluation, or to assess learning from experience. So students write about their learning experience, and then the teacher or a third party will evaluate the students learning logs and what he has done or she has accomplished, what he is missing, and so on, based on the learning experience. And this is also, so it could be reflection, could be assessment tool. Sometimes it's personalized learning, something that personal for students, or a platform to record their responses to the learning experience, challenges they are facing, their feedback to the lesson, educational issues they are facing, and so on. And it's something personal for a student. Some people saying it is a way for children to record their knowledge and understanding in whichever way suit them best. So it's a kind of record. So students will be saying that today they learn this in math or in English or whatever, and then this is what they found in the lesson. This is what they found very difficult. They found this part easy or this section easy. So he need to do or she needs to do further research in this or in this part of the lesson, this section, this and so on. So learning logs is something great. All in all, learning logs and is include few things, include techniques or tool for recording students' progress and give them a platform for reflection. These are two common elements that we need to know. However, we have learning logs, learning journals. Are they the same? What is the difference, if any? Please bear with me. I will be asking you some questions and not a question just to test you, but also just to share, and we have a better understanding about this topic, because I have found they are used interchangeably and sometimes replacing each other. In order to start strong in if you want to implement this in your classes, in your courses, I think we need to differentiate between learning logs and learning research. So let's have this question. I just want you to tell me true or false based on your understanding. Learning logs and learning journals serve the same purpose in education, differing only in their names. What do you think? Just in your sheet, choose whether this statement is true or false. False. We can use a chat as well if we want. False, Nadine, false, Haya, false. Someone says true. Okay. I appreciate more feedback, more input. I know the timing, of the session. Or we have more than 60 false. Please just scan the QR in order to be able to log into the slides where you can see your response live on the screen here. So there is a comment in a common.
I have a question.
Sorry.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What is the impact on children with learning journals?
This will be coming through the session. I think we'll be talking about the benefits and impact of learning logs when implemented in a wise way on students. There will be. Thank you for asking. Thank you. Okay. So all in all, this is false because learning logs and learning journals are not the same. You are true. Most of you are not false. They are not the same. They have different purposes, different functions, maybe different format, so they are not the same. Bear with me. We'll go to the second question. Learning journals are more likely to involve personal reflection and emotional aspect of learning. By answering and sharing these, we'll get some. That's true. We have one response here. I appreciate more involvement, engagement in this. I'll go to the chat as well. We have two from the audience say that's true. Learning journals are more likely to involve personal reflection, emotional aspect, as some of you mentioned already when we start talking about this topic. Let's go to that. It's true. Wala Fathi, it's true. Anoja Harush, is it true? Muhammad, is it true? Fida, is it true? Yeah, we have 4. Dima, it's true. Muhammad, Mutel, it's true. Okay. That's good. I feel that most people are relying on a chat rather than on the AHA slides. We both are okay, but if you can log in AHA slides, we might find the responses more easily to be tracked and viewed by everyone. Dina Diab, true. Okay, my chat is also here on my mobile phone. Okay. So yes, I think we have all agreed that at least all who responded, that learning journal involve personal reflection. Journal means personal reflection, emotional aspect. Students will be talking about not only describe the learning, but also will comment on their learning. Their emotion will be also involved. I mean, whether they appreciate or they need more assistance, they like it, do not like it. And describe their emotion in more depth. I think we have one more question, which is about the characteristics. So, and I think we need to use AHA slides. What is a primary characteristic that distinguishes learning journals from learning logs? We have structures and goal oriented. This is one characteristic. Just I want to make things clear and know what is the element or the criteria or the characteristic that make this thing. Let me show results. Most people say open-ended and expressive. Emphasize on tracking progress, structure, and goal-oriented. Okay, let us wait for more response. We have more than 60, almost 65 participants in this session, but okay. Okay, true. Sorry, open-ended and exclusive. Let me give more time to think of. We have a question and answer. For chat. Roda from the chat, open-ended and expressive. That's right. Farqiyya, open-ended and expressive. Okay. Yeah. I think yes, I think it's the you are right. You have the you are in the school, and you know in the class, and you know what's what distinguish or make the learning terms different from the learning is that open-ended and expression, because for journal students will not have a true or false question or something that within a boundaries or something. It's open for them to reflect and see different perspectives, and even to search for more information from different platforms. So learning journals is what distinguishes it is it's open-ended and though does it mean that it's not a structure and goal-oriented. As a teacher, maybe in a school setting, we might be forced to structure goal setting, still keeping the open-ended and expressive. Emphasis on the tracking progress. There will be in learning journal, we will be tracking student progress. Students will be writing about their progress, but that is not the main target or what distinguish the learning journal. Let's move forward to the primary purpose of learning goal. Why do we have learning goals? Just to have a comment. Is it encouraging reflective learning or promoting self-awareness? or structured tracking progress. I'm really sorry if I'm putting too much pressure on you at this part of the, at this time of the day, but it is as good. Encouraging reflective learning. Again, we are talking about learning logs, not learning journals. Promote self-awareness, structured tracking of progress. Structured tracking, let me give you some time as well to get this done. You see, we get confused a little bit, which is good. Let me go to the chat so no one is not happy. True, what's this? Let's go. I think both refer to one document feeling, emotion, thought, subjective, the other record progress question. That's very good. That's very good, Miss Dima. I guess Dima. Open-ended and expressive. These are the questions for promotion. Promote self-awareness. Promoting self-awareness. رقية. في the structure tracking. Let me see here. Okay. Once again, it is for learning logs. According to the literature, the focus is on structured tracking progress, where students are asked to write what they have learned, what they did in the class, or what the teacher has done, or their students, and then what went well for them and what things that didn't well or they didn't go well with them, and so on. So for the learning log is the tracking progress, tracking students' progress by students themselves. Sure, that will promote her or his self-awareness. Definitely that will help self-awareness about areas that he needs to work, which topic or area that he needs to read more or seek assistance from the teacher. There will be reflective learning as well and so on. But the main reason or the main goal for utilizing or implementing learning logs is to track students. And this is why we need to differentiate between, just to wrap on this and see the difference between learning logs and learning journals. Learning journals are different from learning journals in that learning journals are subjectively on personal experience, reactions and reflections. So if we are going to encourage reflection and reaction and students personal, and this is usually with mature students, we will be doing learning journals. And if they are going to run learning logs are more documentary records of learners' work process, what they are doing, their accomplishment, ideas, question. They are a record of learning as it occurs. So these are the main differences. But in my view, the best way is to have a mix of them. I don't imagine that even with younger students, when to have a learning journal, learning logs without giving the platform for students to reflect or to share his feeling or reaction or reflection and so on. At the same time, learning journals without student documenting his efforts or his what's being done in the lesson or out of the lesson is something also important. So we need to talk about reflection. As you may have noticed that the significant part or the significant outcome should be the enhancing students' ability to reflect on their learning. What do you mean by reflection? Reflection is a type of thinking that is associated with deep thought. So if students have a lesson in math, in English, in physics, in Arabic language, whatever, he needs to make sense of the information, of the knowledge that have been there. He needs to make sense and see the value of the skills that introduced to him or her in the classroom. And without this reflection, without this deep thought, and how to synthesize all this information into a new knowledge new learning, generalization. We as teacher have been teaching, giving us information, skills, and so on. But how much of that knowledge uh, 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 students make sense of? So that's what we mean by reflection. So students are going to express how the information, how the lesson has been useful to them, in what way, and as one of you pointed, and how this to relate this into their life and so on. So, and then what is their plan to use the knowledge? And here I would like to talk about the cycle of reflection, so that when you implement or you plan to implement your learning logs, we keep this in mind. It's not sufficient as simply to have experience in order to learn. Yani, if students are exposed to many learning experience, to many skills that they have to gain, and so on, but is that enough? That might be enough for a certain route, but without reflecting upon this experience, it may be quickly forgotten, quickly lose, and this. So we need to have a kind of a structure, a framework where we empower students with tool to it. So we'll start with this kind of cycle for reflection. I'll go quickly about it. I mean, I can share this with you. I will be sharing this with the Queen Rania Academy, so that it could be shared. Now, first of all, what happened? How the students perceive what happened in the classroom, then his feeling, emotion is very important. What were you thinking and feeling? How did you feel about it, about the learning experience you attended or you observed, and so on. These questions will help the students to be more engaged, more motivated. Evaluation: what was good and bad about the lesson? What went well with that learning experience? What's wrong with that learning experience, and so on. You need to encourage students to give this feedback. As we said, this is the window for students' mind. What sense have happened, and how would you felt about it, and how would you make sense of what you have been learning? Conclusion: what else could you have done? Is there another way that you could use this information? Is there another way that the teacher could have introduced this? Is there any other material or information that could support or debut this information? Is there any other sub skills that you could then student? And then which is equally important is action plan. What's next? How you are going to use this information? What would you do with this knowledge information? If we manage to get students, all your students, to have this cycle, I don't mean after each lesson, but at least after a unit, after a new learning lesson, I'm sure they will be I'm not sure, I mean, research say that they will be engaged, deeply engaged in their learning, and this will make them more motivated and also more responsive to the content as we would come to. So talking about reflection leads me to talk about reaction. And why I'm talking about reaction, because while I'm preparing for the research paper, I found that there is a confusion also between reflection and reaction, and a few students do reflection, but they do reaction. Reaction is something that is quick and immediate. I like it or didn't like it without giving justification. Mainly focus on their feeling experience to the topic they are learning. I don't like the lesson today, or the information was invalid to me or relevant to me, so, but without giving justification or get into deep or even look for other resources and make the a deep learning. This what they are studying. So we need to keep in mind these two things when we want to implement our learning goals. Reflection. We are targeting reflection, not reaction. And this is not an easy. From my experience, I've been teaching for the last 3 years. The first year, I asked students to use their learning blogs in the AB research course. Most of them, they are doing reaction and so on. Then I was communicating with other colleagues and with people, different platform, different network communities, and they run me with questions and so on. So just to wrap up on this, learning logs, learning journals, what they include? They include reflections. And in order to to encourage students to do reflection, we need to provide them with a question, proper question, and they could feedback, observation, and different ideas about things. What I would like to advise all of you, myself, that do not include summaries of reading. Do not ask them to do a summary of the reading they are learning. Do not ask them to put a transcript of the lectures or notes from textbooks or quizzes they have turned, or like a diary or something. It's something that person is student to write on. They are matter. They are very important. They help learners to recognize their learning growth as well as the areas where they need to work and to do what's their future plan. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much and in a speed that now a learning log in general, what they are. First of all, let me take this off here. Okay, they should be diverse. Shouldn't be talking just about the same topic, same area, same subject, I would say. Not necessarily written, but most of the time assume written format. But as one of you mentioned in the post, that it could be recording. Students could be recording themselves. And I can share with you a good number of websites where students record and reflect on their learning experience in schools, and which is something that generally they are reflective and accumulated over a period of time. One thing I noticed from the research and from my experience, students, and when students start not writing this regularly and infrequently, we as teachers, or I'll talk about myself, my experience, I quit sometimes. I said, well, why should I be working this? And that is, it's time consuming, one of the challenges we're talking about. But still, it's a period of time, and then we need to keep momentum, the student, and continue on to learning. One thing I would like to share with you is that we not just focus on describe what happened in class, describe what the step we are going to do, but to reflect and do a lot of it. It should be flexible, not structured, not unstructured. And it should be structured and not structured to give a student a framework or to give them a plan, a roadmap, if you like, and structured not to restrict or limit the students. Also keep it open so students can write about different things and things that not related to academic. We need to focus, keep it on useful backup to learning. Simply students when they reflect or comment or discuss what they have learned in class after school, maybe, or with that would be good. Some things it facilitates favorable conditions for learning, space, time, reflection, which are very important element in the learner. And one thing that I would like to highlight also here, they are applicable to all disciplines, not just letters, not just English or Arabic language, but it could be that. If you compare learning logs to diaries or lab logs, lab logs complete the description, but they do not allow students, at least the one I have been looking at, do not allow students to reflect or to deep think, why is this happening and so on. They describe what happened in the lab, and then but they lack the reflection where I think we should be focusing more. Now, I know I'm asking too much, maybe. Please forgive me and forgive me. Now, just to see your input and your things, I just would like you to briefly write an entry about a recent teaching experience and determine it is suitable for either a journal entry or a learning log. I mean, just obviously we all teachers. I know that in UAE we have just completed the term one. I think other areas in Jordan, I'm not sure. I don't think they have completed, but just about recent teaching experience you have observed while you are teaching, and then will you consider it as learning journal or learning logs? I need to keep an eye on the time as well. Learning log. I will go to chat as well. I really appreciate to hear from you, because can you go back to the previous slide? I'm sorry, Diana. Could you put your question in the question answer? I will answer it, Diana. I can't go back to that previous time constraints. I'll give you 2 to 3, 4 minutes maybe, because if you are going to Zahia, what about the certificates of attendance? I think they admin so they will provide people with certificates of attendance. That's for sure. My look about this webinar, it has been very clearly introduced, introducing and provide illustration. There was an error distinction between learning logs and learning journals. Thanks, maybe. Thanks for answering about the certificates. Zahia. Certificate will be emailed to everyone after the load. This is Mr. Shadi, I guess. Answered. Research writing was both would be research writing process. Both would be used throughout the stages of research to record progress and the students' feeling and thought as they complete the task. Yeah, yeah. Fida Abu Eid, this is a very interesting teaching experience. About inclusion, education. I guess it would be suitable for a learning journal. Yes, I do agree. When we have open-ended questions and the question that even touch students' feeling and their interest, that will using logarithms. Khalid Sheikh Qasim in real life situation is a learning logs. Isam Jasim. I'm trying to follow certificates. I'm still waiting for participants are typing using AHA slides, the PowerPoint presentation, if you like. And if maybe my intended goal or of this activity is to encourage each one of us as teacher also to have a kind of teaching log. I mean, to reflect on our teaching styles and learn what's happening in our classrooms and try to. It's great. I have been maintaining like a portfolio and I when I go back and start looking at teaching experience I throughout the year. It helps me a lot in stay back and reflect on whether I could have done this in a more appropriate, especially if this paired or with students' logs or feedback from students. Track assessment for a student, providing effective support, providing comprehensive evaluation, empowering students, guiding students. All these are experience that we have been facing as teachers. Okay. So students reflect on feedback received from teachers. I would highly recommend that you develop this in a way that you have your students' feedback. It will enrich your knowledge about their students and also about your teaching and about you as a human being as well, not only a teacher, not only a person who come and deliver things and leave and write exam and so on. So this, oh, sorry, I should go back to this. There was something. Our reading unit is about stories and how they inspire us to do what seems impossible, like overcome a big problem. Students had to write a journal entry after discussing the unit theme. That's really good. That will help them a lot to think, reflect, keep engaged, maybe improve their communication skills. They will be talking. Okay, Thank you. So let's move and ask you, have you ever utilized learning logs or journals? Um, just with just a click yes or no, maybe, not sure, maybe. Whether you have utilized the learning logs before. Okay, it's good. I don't assume that many will be at the school setting. Okay. Now, what are the benefits of implementing learning logs in the school? Uh, I think we have already come across these. We have been talking about this. They were talking about. We have been. I mean, you mentioned some. I mentioned some here and there and so on. But if we want to summarize up the benefit of learning logs for students, one is consolidated in class learning. Consolidated class learning, as mentioned by you, and when students leave the lesson with a question in mind or something that puzzles him, that will consolidate learning. Promoted reflection, that's critically important in today's learning. If we want our students to be innovators, problem solver, all these 21st century, develop the accountability when the students be aware of their difficulties, or if they are not matching up with the pacing and so on. They'll create them to be accountable and maybe autonomous learning. Enhance planning. We mentioned this before. Plan for what's next step and so on. Build self-monitoring skills. That's great. Also for could be done by these learning logs. Self-awareness, improve decision making. Students will be able to that. I wish I had enough more time so that I can share you some of my students where some of their logs and so on. I will be. These are some of the experts that I took from my students' logs, last year logs, and which shows that how students benefited from this. And I'm claiming that doesn't come from the first year, but the first year was very difficult. I mean, I teach them grade 11, grade 12, grade 11. It was very difficult for me to convince them with the log, but initially, eventually they start doing this in a very excellent way. These are have a look at them and see how students benefited from that. I initially believed that the annotated bibliography was pointless. However, during this session, I understand how crucial it is. They reflect on this, how important things are. By the next week, I will have chosen the research method that I will use. In addition to that, I will try myself. So they plan, and they are more accountable about that. They will be responsible. They will have a sense of direction. What's next? What's missing, and so on. If you look at the third extract, I achieved a lot this week in terms of the literature review and the annotated bibliography. You feel responsible and accountable and sense of achievement, which is very important as well. I decided from the beginning to use my vacation wisely and not waste this precious time on useless things. Planning, accountability, planning, all these things. These are just experts from students. Let me skip this and go. How do students use them? I'm sorry, I have to go a little bit faster and quicker than I thought. Here are some of the students, how students use the learning log in my case, in my situation. To take note during the lesson. After class, I reflected on my learning and share my thoughts about the activities. For the most important section, my log was what is next. I mean, what I am required to do this week. Writing down my next step was of great help for me and others, I guess, to keep focused and motivated to meet the many requirements. These are some of the students' responses after the course. I asked them to tell me how did they use the learning logs. For me, I like to read number 4 here. For me, the log was like a mind map. For example, when I stopped working on my research to focus more on other school requirements, I could easily resume my work and so on. So students use this. In a summary, learning logs are valuable tools that empower students to take control of their learning process. It's a means for reflection, goal setting, knowledge, and so on. When used activity, they are greatly enhance the students' learning experience and can make them more accountable. Now, what other benefits would you think of for the teachers? And I would like to hear from you. Sorry, we have about 2-3 minutes maybe for this activity. Just maybe 1 minute. How this would in those especially who have utilized the learning loss, what are the benefits for you? How did you use them? I would appreciate any feedback from you from the audience here. I would also go to the chat. What benefits would you think if or when or if you have utilized the learning logs? Yeah, reflection cultivates empathy. That's very accurate. When students reflect that, we will have a better rapport with the students. We will know our students more. It's feedback for the practices. Yes, for their practice, feedback for their practice. The feedback is integral part of teaching and learning. Whether I mean feedback to the students, if you know, save time, fun. It's very important. The word fun. Keep students. It's not something that we need to give to correct and mark and here's the spelling mistakes. You should have written. It's fun. Keep students engaged and motivated. That's very good. Gives the students independence in their learning. But yes, Fida, but what about you? What benefit you will get? Innovative? Yeah, participant writing. I mean, when you study or look or review your students' log, how would that benefit you as a teacher? Okay. And then we'll take some time for typing. Feedback from students also help teacher to empower more by researching updated information. Very accurate. Help them. Sometimes this helps to integrate more learning resources. Very good. Accurate, Dania. Dina, understand them better. Yes, understand their learning experiences, their feedback, where they come from, their knowledge, their issues. And that's very accurate because during the class setting, during the lesson, you will not be able to know all students, and you will be surprised when you read the logs, especially when students express their feeling, issues they are facing. So it's a good way of communication with the students, and it's a kind of personal communication. Teachers with insight into their students' perceptions and the struggles about that. That's Ruqayya, that's very good. Track assessment for students, that's accurate. Providing effective support, provide coverage evaluation, empowering students, encourage peer feedback, build community. That's great to have a kind of community rather than a group of the students. You have teams, you have community to acknowledge their strengths and weaknesses. Excellent, great. Thank you very much for all these things. These ease differentiation in class. Peter, that's brilliant. So you know more your students, so you'll be able what they like and do not like and things that they aren't. So you can have a better idea when you plan your lesson. It's a teacher's insight of the learning process and challenges. That's very, very accurate. So let us summarize. As you said, gain insight into the students' self-awareness, can provide personalized feedback to the students, especially if you have a shy students or students who doesn't, or a group of students who do not like to communicate. Track the progress of each students over time. In exams, you just see, you look at numbers, but here you look at narrative, look at feedback, look at the students' feeling, and so on. So it will be more comprehensive. Provide teacher with insight into student interest, concerns, and question. Can use them as a scaffolding tool. Differentiation, the night by Hiba was great. Fida, scaffolding tool to guide students in there. Can use them as a formative assessment tool. I wouldn't prefer, but it's something that there you could use it as a formative, not summative assessment. Build strong rapport with the students. I mean, for teachers, because they will know more about, as you mentioned in the post, about their struggles, feeling. Maybe they will get more insight about students' learning and so on. How to create effective learning logs in your knowledge. So maybe we now have a better idea about the learning logs and differentiate between learning logs, learning journals, and benefits of this. Now, how to create? Always set measurable goals and objectives. Why you are building or developing learning goals? Why you are asking students to have a learning goal? This is very important for assessment, reflection, and so on. These things should be clearly communicated to the student. Develop a system for tracking progress. One thing I found and research that if you do not track students and develop this system to see students' progress and so on, it would be useless. In another way, if students write and they have developed learning logs and they expect their teacher to look at them on weekly basis or give them feedback or reviewing, and teacher do not that, students will stop doing this. So there must be a developer system. I know it's very demanding, challenging, and so on. We'll come this. Use prompt to guide the reflection. And this is very highly important, and all research maintains that. Research I read is that we need to promote in order to promote empower students with the reflection skills. We need to give them prompts, questions, and so on. As one of you, I think the question about inclusion was that a great thing. So include that in your lessons. Make time for reflection a regular habit. Give them some time, sometimes in the lesson, not only after the class, under your supervision, and will be very excellent activity. Make reflection a regular habit and incorporate it into your daily or weekly routine. And do not minimize their reflection, even if they are silly, trivia, you think trivia, simple, and so on. They are young people and they will that. So we need to make sure that we are developing skills. Consider using digital tools. So now I think I attended a session today in the second session, maybe about Canvas and young learner technology with young learners, something like that. And I think that we need to use digital tools, not only binders and writers. So we can use Google Docs, KidBlock, Weekly Planner. I'm keen on using Google Docs. I don't know whether I will be able to. Let me share this with you. Some of my how I'm using this. Oh no, this is a log that I have been using with my students, and I think it was time consuming for me, but I benefited a lot from students. My benefit from me and so on. Look, this is what I do is every week students have to write what the action they have studied, point of contact, whom they did talk to, what they have been doing for the whole week in this course, and whether they have collected any data from where and so on. But most part that I would like to is the reflection. How has your thinking changed regarding the inquiry research as a result of today's lesson and so on? And here I would like to share this with you. During this session, I'm sorry I'm going faster than I should be, but it's time. I'm looking. During this session, I developed a better understanding of my topic. The problem statement made a clear thought of what I will be exploring during this research. I was already done with the problem statement, but after teacher's explanation, I edited it and made it clearer. That's not deep reflection, but still students are talking about their learning, what they have learned, the problems and so on. And what I found very useful, okay. So I'll be ending. This is just another example how students are learning, and so on. We'll touch on the quickly on this thing, which is logs. There are different logs available, different platform, different template that we can use. What you need as a teacher as well is to develop goals. Why you are doing these goals and things would be it. Just to conclude, the characteristics of learning logs should be, in order to have an excellent and productive, effective learning logs for students, it should be regular and frequent from side of the teacher and the student. Should be short, shouldn't be demanding on the students, and shouldn't be asking students to write a summary of something or just write a proper question. Students maybe write 2 sentences, paragraph, whatever. That should be minimally structured, not too structured, not a structured student. Academic, focus on academic. Sometimes students deviate from that and start talking about different things. Should it be corrected? Should be uncorrected, so that you don't spelling mistakes, handwriting or something, because this is students, but should be credited in your credit. I mean that either by scores, giving students scores and formative assessment and so on. Without this one, shared and responded feedback from the teachers is critical. Without sharing their thought or with giving their feedback, it will not be so. The challenging for utilizing the log, we have different challenges. One of them, time, lack of consistency, students engagement, language barriers, monitoring and giving students take time, resistance, and so on. We have a group of or a set of challenges, but by yes, believing that I'll go, sorry, I'll go faster with this. This is how to maintain consistency in using learning logs. And conclusion, or okay, that's all from I think from my side. I'm sorry, I maybe have been talking too much, but also time, and maybe you get something from this presentation or from this regarding, I hope discussing this and facilitating this session or this meeting would raise your interest in having learning logs in your courses. Thank you very much.
In conclusion of this special working of this workshop at the Queen Rania Teacher Academy Forum for Teacher Training 2023, we would like to express our deep thanks to Dr. Omar and Norsi, and to you all, the audience, and for your effective and inspiring participation. We hope that this workshop has added value to your ideas and educational skills. We remind you that you will receive your certificate of attendance by email, and we urge you to fill out the feedback survey, please. I think the feedback survey will help us to improve and develop our future experiences. We look forward to seeing you at Queen Rania Teacher Academy's future events. Thank you so much, and see you.
Thank you, and see you. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed being here with you.